All right, guys, we're in a new studio. I'm in Jersey with my boy Vin. A lot of you guys know who Vin is. Vin Sells Tech is the new username,
Vin
correct?
Sells Tech, yep.
Yep, Vin Sells Tech. I'm in Jersey. I was here for a product advisor meeting for a software company called Twine in New York with Vin. We decided to come out and shoot an episode. So this is episode 15 of the Sell That SAS podcast. Different studio, different background, but we're making it work, and we're going to have a good conversation today. So, Vin, it's good to have you, and a lot of people probably know who you are, but let's go ahead and give an intro.
Yeah, frequent collaborators, I would say. But my name is Vin, been in the tech sales space for coming up on 6 years now. Started making a lot of content on the side, which then turned into a side business, and we'll kind of get into that today about B2B influencer marketing. But before we get into that, so we came to New York for the product advisory meeting. I drug him out to Jersey. He's in New York. I was like, man, come out with Jersey, stay with me for the weekend. We'll shoot some content. We'll get a workout in. So a lot more content. I'm showing him around Jersey. We rented the studio. We were 30 minutes late but we're getting it done today. And before we get into it, I want to hear your rating. You went to Katz's Deli.
Oh, yeah.
What's your rating, your final verdict on Katz's Deli?
So if you guys don't know Katz's Deli, it's like the spot to go to if you're visiting New York. At least I heard from TikTok. And basically, I'd give it like a 9.7.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a pretty good rating.
Yeah, I thought it was just like one of the best pastrami sandwiches I've ever had in my life.
That's
It's
big
kind
time.
of chaotic in there.
It's
though.
chaotic.
I'd say the experience, I'd say the sandwich itself is like off the charts
for sure.
but like the experience is kind of chaotic.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it's definitely chaotic, but it's worth it.
Yeah, it's so worth it. You have to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm in Jersey now. I stayed with Vin at his place, and now we're doing the podcast. And afterwards, we're probably gonna go get a workout in, go to the shore, do a lot of like Jersey things, which I'm excited. I'm excited to do, and it's So yeah, man. I mean, just thanks for having me out here.
Dude, absolutely, absolutely. I'm excited about it
and doing this. So yeah. I mean, what was your biggest takeaway from the weekend that we had?
So yeah, for the product advising meeting that we had with a company called Twine, which is basically just an AI company that helps salespeople write emails better. My biggest takeaway was, one, the level of like work that's needed to actually create a startup. Like Mo, the founder, he seems like he puts all his energy and hours into that company, right?
Mm.
And the littlest product updates take a lot of work to get put out and launched. So I got a deeper appreciation for startup founders. And then also it was just cool to like meet people that you follow on, LinkedIn or social media. Got to meet a lot of other content creators and sales professionals. So just cool to get together and learn about the startup grind, I think.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of people there too, like big LinkedIn followings that, you follow, and you meet them in person and they're actually pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And they're just normal people, right? So it's like people have these followings, and a lot of times people look up to them. It's like, oh my gosh, they're amazing. They're this, they're that. And then you meet them, they're just another person, right? So that's like, even Vin and I, we have pretty decent followings, I guess. I mean, some people would say not decent. Some people would say decent. It depends who you ask. But, I'm Vin and I, I've always kind of ran in the same space of like software sales influencers, like that type of vibe. And we're trying to kind of like break out of the software sales, but we're trying to also show people what else we do. Like, it's not just software sales. Like, I think that's what this episode really, I was like excited to talk about, is because a lot of people feel like it's like just software sales whenever we post. But then Vin, if you watch Vin's content on Vin Sells Tech on TikTok, that Vin's not just in software sales. He, you like working out, you like cooking, you like showing people your AIP diet, you like traveling, you like doing food reviews. So like, there's much more to than this job of software sales. And especially for myself too, is, I'll post a lot of stuff about, me being, my faith as a Christian, or I'll post me working out or hiking in Arizona or traveling, right?
Golfing.
I love golf. Love golf. So it's like all these different areas of of a creator that you don't have to find out, like, just put yourself in like a box. So like for you, I found you from your day in the life content from tech sales. But when did you start saying, I want to start showing people a different side of me?
Well, it's funny you say that, man. Like, I get my most inspiration from watching non-sales related content. And so, I was talking to you about this, but my fiance really likes to watch like vlogs of creators that she likes, and they talk about fashion and, whatever they bought and travel. And so I found a lot of inspiration with that, where, my fiance is so connected to these creators that she's never met before, but she feels connected to them. She knows what they're doing. She knows she keeps up with their lives. And I found there was a big opportunity in the professional space to share more lifestyle content. Because if you go to LinkedIn, there are all those text jockeys, right?
Bro.
You like that word? There's all these text jockeys that are just like creating these really, maybe insightful posts, but they're all just text-based about their job. And no one really knows what else these people are interested into. So it's hard to make a connection with somebody.
It is.
And so my goal, after like being inspired by like seeing the vlogs my fiance watches, is like, man, if I can incorporate some of my lifestyle stuff, so people know me as Vin that is in tech sales maybe today, but they also know that I'm into all these different things. And I don't plan on being in tech sales forever, my entire life. Like, that's not my goal. So I don't want to just pigeon myself as the guy who's in tech sales. And then when I leave tech sales, all my followers are like, I'm going to leave this guy because his content doesn't apply to me anymore.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
I didn't know you didn't want to like always be in software sales.
I mean, I loved software sales. It's an amazing career. Like, I've been able to like pay off 6 figures of student debt in 3 years with this career. I've been able to travel, meet friends, learn a ton. But I don't think it's a career that I want to be in forever.
What makes you say that?
I had a conversation with the CEO of my company, actually. I don't know. And he said something that really stuck out to me. And he was a salesperson. He was a salesperson at the company I work for. He's now the CEO, which is awesome, right?
Yeah.
And so I asked him, I said, like, that's not a common path.
No.
How did you get there? And he said, I was doing well at sales, but I had this just a feeling one night, and it was almost nightmarish, where I was 40 years old and still selling. And he said that scared me.
Oh, wow.
And I very much related to that. And I don't know if he even wants me sharing that story, but I've really related to that, like, strongly, very much so, because I feel the same. And I don't think I really want to be an IC forever.
Oh, no.
And I also don't know if I want to necessarily get into management. So I don't necessarily know what I exactly want long-term. I think long-term for me would be entrepreneurship in some capacity. Now, I don't know if that's 5 years, if that's 10 years, if that's 2 years away.
Right.
I don't know when that is. It'll come one day, but I don't see myself in a sales role forever. I'll always be selling, no matter what I do.
Always be selling.
But I won't be a specific IC, I don't think. That's not my goal.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think even for me, I love sales. I've always been in sales since I was 18. So it's something like that's innate in me. But what comes with being a good salesperson is also leaning towards that entrepreneurial route, because when you're really good at sales, you understand how to sell things. And like you and I have our side businesses of content creation, and a lot of people don't know this, like that even people who follow me, you might see like, oh, the content creator Will Padilla or the content creator Vin Matano, but what you guys don't know is we're actually getting paid from a lot of different companies to do work on behalf of those companies. So one thing I get paid for is promotional content. So I don't sell any courses, although I might be doing like a guide here soon. So stay tuned for that. Just like something like easy that you guys can download that's pretty cheap. But most of my content, like I'll do like promotional content, or I'll get contracted by a company called Upwork, and they'll say, hey, we want like 3-4 commercials. Can you shoot it, edit it, send it to us? We'll pay you.
Well, maybe we should even then break down how you monetize as a creator. I think that's important to understand. There's a few avenues to do it, right? So maybe you can talk about a few avenues that you monetize as a creator. I can share mine as well.
Yeah, so monetizing as a creator is really challenging because you have this amazing following, and people message me, they look up to me, and I'm very grateful for it. Like this Sell That SAS podcast, I really enjoy just being able to talk to people and having you guys listen and just understand more of who I am as Will Padilla. But the monetization of a content creator is difficult. And one of the ways that I've monetized, and I'm still learning, but one of the ways I've monetized is purely promotional content. So like if a brand wants to reach out to me and they'll say, hey, can you promote this, our software, and we're going to pay you. I'll say, sure, it fits in my brand. I'll make a post, which is very, that's very common as an influencer. And then another way is affiliate links. So like I'll work with a company. I used to work with a company called Cuts Clothing. And I would basically say, hey, I wear my Cuts clothing to the office. It fit naturally. People really liked it. And I had a discount code and a link, and I was able to drive commissions off that link. And you can drive commissions off of any software or clothing company that you represent. So that's definitely a route as well. And then, another way is advisory. So I do an advisor role for multiple software companies or, whoever, if they want like my opinion on their tech, I'll contract myself out as 1099. I have an LLC, Sell That SAS LLC. But like those are my 3 ways. But, you can also get more in depth, and I'm sure you can explain more of, outside of those 3 that I mentioned, which ones do you do?
Well, there's lots of ways you can monetize as a creator. And it's funny, there's creators that have way, way, way more followers than us that maybe potentially make less, and vice versa, right? Someone maybe have less followers than us that make way more than us. So it's all about the strategy of which you monetize your account. The most common way you would monetize your account is sponsored posts, like you said, someone paying you to post on their behalf. That's the most common way that influencers make income. Then there's other things, like you said, affiliate links, another way you can monetize. There's things like coaching and consulting, which is another way of income that you can produce. There's UGC work, which is what you're doing, where you create the content, but you don't post on your page, on the influencer page. You gift it to the brand, and they can use it for whatever they want, advertising, social channels. They own the content. Then there's also paid communities that people can do. I don't personally do any paid communities. The majority of my side income comes through sponsored posts as of right now. Actually, advising has taken that over, advising and consulting, then sponsored posts. But people do paid communities as a way where you can have a group of people that follow you and want just more time of you. I think one of the things that I struggled with the most was I had this idea of like, digital courses and paid communities it's kind of scammy. You're asking too much for your followers. Like you're just trying to push a course. But in reality, it's kind of like this funnel where you have your followers that are general followers. Maybe they see a Will Padilla post every once in a while and they like it, but maybe they don't even follow you. But they see your stuff every once in a while, maybe they like it and watch it. Then you have the people that follow you, and every once in a while they see your post, they like, comment, and that's it. Then you have the people that are obsessed with your content, and they go out of your way and they search Will Padilla in the search bar to find your content to see what's new. Then you have the people that say, well, I want more of Will's content. I've searched for it. I've already watched it. What else can I have? And so there's a small group of followers that want to spend more time with Will Padilla, and so they're willing to pay for that. And if you're willing to put your time into creating an avenue for them to spend more time with you in a paid community or potentially a course, there's folks that are willing to pay just to get more time with you. And it's not necessarily like you're, obviously you have to be truthful. You're not, lying and making false promises. But if you're just giving them an avenue to spend more time with you as a creator, people are willing to pay for it.
Yeah, that's something where I said, like, I'll probably create a guide for you guys. I'm not going to reveal what guide, but actually, yeah, I can. By the time this releases, it's a cold call guide. So, a lot of people like asking for cold call advice. I'm just going to do a cheap guide that you guys can download and get all my tracks and rebuttals. And it's pretty simple, but if you guys like my cold call content, you'll like that guide. So that's like the small stuff that I'm going to be working on. But, you and I both love influencing though. Like we both love working for brands and like being a creator and taking them along this journey. And we talked about LinkedIn. It's all like text posts. Personally, it's a hot take here, but I don't know if like I would consider them like
Creators?
A true creator. I think that they understand how to give like text posts, and that's like definitely very valuable. There's so much value in that. But I think if you're someone who doesn't understand video, people will want your stuff, but they're not going to view you as like a content creator.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd agree necessarily with that, but I understand what you're saying. For example, you're kind of limiting yourself if you're just a text post creator.
Right.
Like, so for example, people that are text post creators are probably people that have newsletters and or are on LinkedIn or Twitter. And those guys make good money, right? But if you can understand all the avenues as a content creator, that's where I think the higher earning potential can come, because when you create these packages for brands, the more channels you have, the higher you can charge. So, oh, by the way, I have a podcast. By the way, I do video content on TikTok. By the way, I do high production commercials that I can create for you. By the way, I also do, a video series on YouTube. Like, you're giving them more avenues to increase your package, the deal size that you can basically sell to them. It makes you more well-rounded as a creator, though. I would agree with that.
Yeah. Also, I feel like content's the type of thing where, this is just me, but like you see someone post on LinkedIn and they only do text posts. Maybe their stuff's really valuable and you buy their stuff. But then you follow a creator who posts a lot of videos and they take you along their journey. If you're in an airport, you probably feel more comfortable to go up to the guy who you always watch his videos.
100%.
Because you genuinely know, oh, I know how this guy's going to respond. I know his mannerisms. I know how he talks. I know his friends. I know all these things about him.
That's so true.
And like, I even get walked up to in airports.
I always say this, I get recognized more than I should.
Yeah.
I don't have that many followers, but
Neither do I.
dude, I got recognized in a nightclub in Cartagena, Colombia. Like, and I only have I don't have that many followers, but it's because we put ourselves in front of video all the time. They can know what Will Padilla looks like right now. I think the biggest thing that's a shocker to me is when I follow a lot of like text creators on LinkedIn and all you see is their avatar. And that's how you assume them to be. But then you meet them in person and they have a big beard now, or they have, or they have a buzz cut now, or they have long hair now. And you're like, whoa, like, but if I follow you on TikTok, I know exactly how you look, how your like you said, your mannerisms. And the things that come out in video don't come out in text posts. This text posts, you sit down, you read through it again, you edit the draft, and you make it so concise. In a video, you could just be talking and something happens and you just drop something in that like you just mentioned. Maybe it's something that you're wearing, maybe it's something around you, maybe it's an earthquake. Like yesterday I got on camera an earthquake in my reaction, like, oh crap. So it's funny, yeah. I think you're more recognizable. Of course you are more recognizable if you put yourself in front of the camera versus being a text person.
Yeah. And I like that. Like, I've always wanted to be on camera. Like, we both did news, right?
Yeah.
Like, when we were in high school, we did our morning news.
Yeah, I was so into it's called our class was called video production, and I was so into it. I took like 3 classes a year. We would make videos, we'd make documentaries, we would make music videos, we made a short film about like Guidos. It was like me and my buddies just joking around, and then like, yeah, I did like the morning news too. We were so into it. Like, we had cameras in our hands all the time.
All the time. I was literally born for this, and I went to school in Mizzou to be a journalism major. I wanted to be on TV, but then I realized, man, these guys on TV start at like $16 an hour.
Yeah.
I have
news anchors.
I have $45,000 in debt. How am I gonna freaking make $14 an hour? To move out to middle of nowhere Kansas to work a little local job, and I'm happy I took the route I did because now I make more than most news anchors in the United States, and from my tech sales job, and also combined with my content creation. But now I'm more of a star. I have freedom. If you're on a news anchor desk, you don't have freedom. Like, you can only say the news, and if you get out of line, you're out of there. But like, for me, I could post about me, like, at a friggin' Cat's Deli, or I could post about me hanging out with my Christian friends.
Whatever you want.
Or I could post about me at, a shooting range. There's a lot of different things I could post about.
Yeah.
That is my brand, that I don't have someone saying, well, you can't post that. And if a brand ever tells me like, oh, well, you can't post that, like, we don't want you to, like, we want like this content to be off your page.
And it's not a good fit.
I'd say got it. So we are definitely not a fit to work together.
And that's okay.
I've never had a brand say that though.
Me
because if a brand wants to approach me, they understand what they're getting into. They understand the type of level of content. They understand who they're working with before they even reach out. So I don't really run into that. Mm-hmm. But I have a lot of freedom. And like, the earning potential is unlimited. We were watching YouTube videos last night from,
Outdoor Boys,
and then Marcus Maloney. And like, these guys are probably making, 15. Well, Marcus Maloney, what?
He just started. He's fairly new to the YouTube journey, but his brand is like crushing it. But Outdoor Boys has like 4 million subscribers.
Right. And like, this guy is just post videos of him in the wilderness and hiking and stuff. And he probably makes like over $250K a month.
Probably.
Maybe more.
Probably. He probably does. That's
Probably
good.
makes close to $1 million a month in ad revenue from YouTube.
Crushes
And
it.
I'm not saying that I'm going to be on that level or Vin's going to be on that level, but you never know. Like, you truly never know the earning potential of when you really pop off on YouTube or you pop off on TikTok, or you pop off on wherever. And like, that's the thing, as a content creator, the earning potential is literally limitless. Like right now, I feel like we're like very like early. Do you feel that way?
For the B2B influencer marketing, absolutely, man. It's so new that, so the challenge is influencer marketing has always been thought of in the traditional sense for consumer products. Someone selling a physical good, you could show it on camera, you could wear it, you could hold it. It's an accessory. An Instagram model can show it in a photo and it gets a lot of engagement. In B2B, it's a newer concept. B2B influencer marketing has been around for a while, but it's been in a different capacity where you may pay some analyst to come speak at your conference. That's technically influencer marketing. But now with the rise of LinkedIn, where LinkedIn is a professional platform, you have these B2B creators that are making professional content for a professional and affluent audience. With the rise of that getting more popular, these B2B brands are now saying, hey, your audience is all the people we're trying to sell to. And so, if you're getting tens of thousands, 20,000, 30,000 views on your posts, why wouldn't a brand want to collaborate with you or at least get access to your audience? So it's very new in terms of that stage of B2B influencer marketing. In its infancy, it's extremely new. And I don't think a lot of brands or creators really know how to navigate it just yet. I think we're all trying to figure it out and what's working best.
What do you think the future of LinkedIn is? Because I think a lot of people have talked about recently, even me and my buddy, Morgan, were talking about it. It just seems like every other post is like an ad now. It's like kind of oversaturated.
Yeah, it is. So I think the posts that perform worst are the ones are ads. And so I think influencer marketing is still going to happen and it's going to be a huge part of people's go-to-market. But I don't think it should be in an effort where you're making sure it's a paid sponsored post. And people think about influencer marketing, they think about me getting paid by a brand to post. You can work with influencers in many capacities. It doesn't have to be a paid post. You can have them on your webinar. You can have them host the webinar. You can have them contribute to a blog. You can have them make content and then gift it to you. You could have them come to an event. You could bring them in on customer calls. It doesn't have to be this pay per post, which I think a lot of brands fall victim of. They think they just have to use influencers in a paid per post model. And then the last thing I'll say about that is if you are using them in a paid per post model, I don't think that's a bad thing, because if you really like a brand and you want to promote it, like that's ideal. But I think what will happen more is this idea of no-click content, where the creator is just talking about them using a tool and there's no call to action. Those perform the best because it's authentic.
It's the best.
The moment you see that link, people scroll past it. Click this link to do XYZ. They scroll past it. But if you have a no-click content, I did a post for a company called Align that I work with, and I just did a demo of their product, no-click CTA. I said, hey, here's how I use this product to increase buyer engagement. There was 0 CTA. And by the way, I use Aligned. And that post got, I think, 30,000 views on LinkedIn.
Sheesh.
Videos. It was a video content. So I love this idea of no-click content. And if brands are behind that, I think they're going to make a bigger impact.
What if they're like, oh, no, we need to track clicks. We need to track this.
It's challenging, right? Because that's the hard balance. Now, I think you could do a mix. Like Gary Vee has this idea of jab, 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 right hook. So it's give, then ask. So let's just say you contract a creator, let's just say for easy math, to make 10 posts. Maybe 7 of those are no-click CTAs, but every once in a while you have a post that does offer a link where people can convert, right? Or you just have maybe a link in bio where it's not as abrasive and in your face, but a follower that's really interested can go ahead and look and find your link and give you credit, essentially. Maybe it's a form conversion where they said, where'd you hear of us? And they can put in your name as the creator. Maybe that's a way to do it where it's not, the creator has to share the link. So I don't know if I necessarily have the exact answer for that just yet because it's so early, but I am brainstorming and trying to figure out ways that you can track attribution without having to ask someone to click a link. It's challenging.
My only thought is like a discount code.
Discount codes are always good too.
I don't know why software companies are against that. All the clothing companies use discount codes.
I'll go out of my way to find a discount code.
Me too.
For example, when I buy my BPN supplements, we were just talking about BPN, Nick Bear. Man, I go on...
tagged photos?
I go on TikTok and type in BPN discount, and I'll just find whoever posts one, and I'll use it. And hey, that's good because that creator is getting credit and BPN's getting an order. Like maybe if I don't find a discount, maybe I don't order for them, maybe potentially. So yeah, I think it's something that software companies should at least think about. Challenges, some companies are PLG models where there is no cost initially. So that might be a little bit of a challenge, but if it's something we have to pay for monthly, could be a good idea.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too.
So
it's worth trying at least. Yeah. Everything's so new in B2B influencer marketing. No one really knows exactly what's working. We don't have enough data. We have a few months, maybe a year worth of data. So I think this is the time to experiment. As a brand, I would try literally everything. If it doesn't work, who cares?
I mean, I think it's like, that's why as a creator, it's good for us just to grow naturally without so many of the brands. Like I'd take on some partnerships, but not like that many, because we're just going to keep growing and growing and growing. And then by the time they reach out, we'll be like, now I charge this much.
Yeah. We're all figuring out our rates too. We were having this conversation at dinner where people are like, I'm trying to figure out my rate. You just keep increasing and increasing your rate until a brand says no. And then you say, okay, mate, that might be my ceiling. That might be what I'm worth. So like we're all figuring it out, man. And if you're a B2B company that doesn't have any money set aside for influencer marketing to at least experiment with it, you're dropping the ball, man. Like these B2B companies have millions and millions of dollars of advertising budget. They can take out 10, 20 grand out of that budget to just experiment with influencer marketing. The upside is massive.
Yeah.
And the downside is, hey, it didn't work, but we got some awareness from it at least. That's the downside, awareness. That's not a bad downside. Like it's worth the risk.
I'm so big on influencer marketing.
I mean, yeah, you live and breathe it.
That's all I do all day is influencer marketing. And, you know, one of the things I think a lot of people, what are we at for?
Doing a time check. We're at 27.
Yeah, we got, a couple more minutes left, guys. We got a tight schedule for this one.
That's our fault. We were extremely late to this. And we're going to own it.
Yeah, we were late.
We were late.
We were late.
We're on Jersey time.
We're on Jersey time, guys. Like, it's not that big of a deal.
We had ice cream last night.
Dude, we had a good night.
We had a good night.
we had a good night, man.
We had a very wholesome night.
We did.
We went to a little local mom and pop shop. Owner came out, shook our hand. Little Greek guy came out. Actually, big Greek guy came out, shook our hand.
Definitely a big
Greek
dude.
Guy. He was a big dude. Came out, shook our hand, and then we walked and got some ice cream after and ate it in a little park. A very wholesome night.
It was. Honestly.
It was wholesome. It was wholesome.
It was like three guys.
Three guys eating ice cream, like in a small town. It was good. It was good.
So you got to do that sometimes, though. You know,
have those, man.
You got to just be like a kid again, because that's stuff I would do when we were like 15, 16. You and your two friends
ride your bike.
You ride your bike. You go like, oh, who wants a sandwich?
Yeah.
You go to a shop, and then you ride around, you get tired, and then you go get ice cream.
We used to get those slushies. You guys have those?
The 7-Eleven.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Do you guys have 7-Eleven out here?
We have 7-Eleven, yeah, but we have a lot of we call them like corner stores. In New York, they call them bodegas, same thing.
Yeah, bodega.
Well, we'll call them corner stores, and you get the slushie and like some food, snacks, chips, soda, and that was it. That was my day, and it was the best.
I was telling Vin earlier, Chicago reminds me so much of New York in the suburbs, but I know New York's like 3 times the size, which is like wild. But like I grew up in Chicago, and it's like so similar, but it's so different. Like, because it's Midwest, but Chicago's like a really big city, but then New York's like the big city, and it's like that East Coast vibe. Everyone's kind of just like moving.
Yeah.
Like there is like no time for a little like Midwest nice chit chat.
Oh no. Everyone's just really concerned about their own selves. I
realize that
it's like they're on their own. Like they don't want to really small talk. I remember, dude, the first time I think it was maybe the first time I left Jersey as I had a memory. We were in Florida on like a little family vacation, and I remember we went to the mall in Florida, and the people were just saying hi to me. And I remember that being so weird to me. And I still remember it to this day, where I was just like, why is everyone so friendly and saying hi? Like, I don't know, you go to the mall in Jersey, like, everyone just keeps to themselves. No one's speaking to anybody. They're just like in their own world. Like, no one's talking. I just remember that being so odd to me.
But that's how downtown Chicago is.
That's nice. I like that, though.
They don't say hi?
Oh, you're saying that?
No, they don't. They do not. Yeah, downtown Chicago, they do not say hi.
Okay, got it.
Like, I swear, I'd be like, because I'm so smiley. I'm like, hey, like, how's it going? And they'll be like, literally, like, go. Go after
What about in the
yourself.
suburbs? They're much
suburbs
Midwest.
Suburbs are like, how you doing, young man? It's like always an old guy comes
Yeah,
up to me, young man, you're a good looking chap. Like I swear, it's all like old people just come up to me and talk to me because that's mostly the suburbs. But then also the suburbs, this is living in Jersey. Everyone knows everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like I literally go to a grocery store and I'm like, oh, yeah, that's my mom's or my mom's friend, or I went to school with that person,
Oh, yeah.
or like that person's used to be a teacher of mine, and so like it's like a very like small town feel in the suburbs, yet you're like close to like one of the biggest cities in the world.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm less than an hour. I'm like 40 minutes from Manhattan. I'm like an hour and so or whatever from Philly. Under an hour from the beach. It's good. It's a good location in Jersey.
It's a good location. I can't wait for you to come to Chicago because it's like a similar vibe. Like
Yeah,
the house that I grew up in is like, 30-minute drive without traffic to downtown Chicago, but with traffic an hour. And then by train, 40 minutes. We have a train like station like right next to our house, like probably like half a mile. And then we have a beach, but it's not as nice as the Jersey beaches. I'll tell you that. It's nothing close to Jersey.
Well, you got the cool lakes and stuff, so.
It is cool, but like, visiting here, and this is like the last thing I'll say, is like visiting here, I was telling Vin, is like almost making me a little, like kind of miss home a little bit, It's because it's very similar, the Chicago suburbs, the New York suburbs. Obviously, I haven't been to like Long Island or anything.
Well, Jersey suburbs. You haven't been to New York suburbs.
Jersey suburbs. I've been to Jersey suburbs. So it's very similar to Chicago suburbs. Just the layout, the weather, just the vibe in general. So I feel comfortable here. It's like I'm kind of like back home. But
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool place, and I'm glad I'm checking it out. I mean, what turned in from hey, come out here for an advisor thing. I said, well, Vin's there.
Yeah.
Let's kick it.
Come to
Let's
Jersey.
go to Jersey.
And I was actually like, I'll invite Will over, but I don't know if he'll want to come because like, maybe he wants a New York experience, and I'm kind of in the suburbs of Jersey. I just want to be clear, like, I'm not in the city. Like, if you're ready to come to the burbs, like, you can stay by me. Will's like, yeah, screw it. I'm down.
I'm really easygoing. I live in Arizona now, so like that's like one big sprawling like suburb city. Like Arizona, there's so much to do, but it's like all like spread out. So like I'm not like, and then I lived in Chicago and I understand the suburbs, so it's like I was like, oh, I'm down.
Yeah, dude. One thing I'll kind of change the topics a little bit. I think one thing I want to like mention is this idea of being nicheless. I think it's on brand with our conversation.
Oh yeah,
and that might be like maybe the final topic. But we were talking about this idea of, I follow this creator called Dan Coe who talks about the creator economy, and Dan Coe talks about this idea of becoming nicheless. I made some content saying how I want to become my own niche. I want to become my own niche. Like Vin Matano is the niche. And so what do I mean by that? I think when you're getting started with content, you have to double down on a niche. Very specific as possible you can with that niche. Tech sales for marketing technology company that lives in New York. Like that's how specific you want to go because you get those followers that relate to you. But you get to a point where you hit a ceiling. There's only so many of those people that exist in the world. Creating a niche also helps you secure larger brand deals because a brand maybe wants to penetrate that specific market. Maybe people in New York that work in tech. But as you grow bigger, if you have bigger aspirations for your channel, you're going to hit a ceiling where you can't grow anymore. So the reason why the lifestyle content works so great for me is because I'm able to sprinkle in some interests, and I can make videos about full videos about those other interests and start to weed out the people that may not follow me or appreciate that stuff. So now someone followed me just because I'm in tech sales. Cool. They've also followed me because I work in New York City. Cool. Now we go even deeper. They follow me because I'm into fitness. Great. Now we go even deeper. They follow me because I'm into a healthy diet and cooking. Now we go even deeper. Then they follow me because, I like fashion. And now we're at this point where it's so narrowed down to someone that's following me. And that's how you actually find a true fan, like 1,000 true fans. You don't need 1 million followers.
Nope.
That 1,000 true fan will fly anywhere across the country to come see you for an event. They will drive. If you put out a product, they will buy it. If you have a paid community, they will join it. And that's how you find your 1,000 true fans, by becoming nicheless. And that's the one thing I just want to leave everybody with, because that's one of the biggest pieces of advice that I've heard, and it's really been able to help me grow my channels. And I'm still in the infancy. I still have a bigger way to go, I think, but it's helped me a ton.
I agree. I seriously think you guys, at the rate Vin and I are going, we've been so consistent for years, 2 or 3 years maybe, and then we've amped it up the past year, heavy, especially. And I feel like, guys, you're witnessing I don't know where we're going to be, but I do know this. Consistency is something that I can control. Consistency, quality, and effort is something I can control, and enthusiasm. And I'm always happy to make content for you guys. And Vin is as well. That's why we create. We genuinely enjoy it.
That's why we rented the studio today.
Yeah, we
We could have
genuinely.
been doing nothing today.
We could have done nothing. We could have said, "Oh, what's on the sports channel?" And we actually, it's funny. Vin and I don't really care about sports. That's something you guys might not want to know about us, but like we don't care about sports.
Yeah.
Except college football for me. I love Mizzou Tigers. But anyways, guys, you're witnessing something that I think is really cool, and we appreciate you being on the journey this early. And who knows where Vin and I are gonna. What we're going to do. As Vin said, we're not in it for the sheer amount of followers. We're in it for creating that really 1,000 true fans of a community that each of us can lead and be able to put on actual in-person events and do these awesome things for everyone who appreciates the content that we put out. So Vin Sells Tech, that's your channel on TikTok and Instagram, but like
Most of my channels are actually just my name, Vin Matano. Instagram is the only one that's Vin Sells Tech. But yeah, man, I've been putting a lot more effort into actually YouTube too. So if you guys are on YouTube, I do a lot of vlog content. I have a lot of fun with that. I'm filming a vlog right now as we speak. Right now, this is like inception. Yeah, man, Vin Matano on all channels.
Yeah, his YouTube is awesome. That's like
Appreciate that.
Something that I want to try and get into. But guys, check out Vin. I'll link all of his stuff in the Spotify description. So this is episode 15, and this is actually going to launch in like mid-May.
Cool.
So by the time you guys check this out, Vin and I are, April 6th or 7th?
6th.
In Jersey right now, so that's why it's a little colder. But guys, follow Vin. Thank you for listening. Tune in bi-weekly episodes every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Mountain Time.